Have you ever felt your life turn upside down in an instant? Can a letter arriving in the mail on an ordinary morning change your entire world? For me, that ordinary morning became the day I experienced one of the biggest shocks of my life. The letter I held in my hand confronted me with irrefutable proof of my wife's infidelity, shattering my world to pieces. What would you do in such a situation? How do you face betrayal knowing that the person you love has cheated on you? Let's delve into this story together and discover what happened and how I felt. That morning, everything started as usual. Under the stress of intense projects at work, I decided to relax a bit with my morning coffee and check the mail while reading the newspaper. Among the bills and advertising brochures, one letter caught my eye. The envelope had no return address or name. Curiously, I opened it and began to read. As my eyes scanned the lines, my heart pounded as if it were about to burst out of my chest. The letter contained photos and messages, proving my wife Liliana's affair with another man. Everything was documented, laid bare. Liliana's relationship with a man named Santiago, their secret meetings, intimate moments, it was all there. At first, I couldn't believe it. My eyes must be deceiving me. But unfortunately, it was real. My world came crashing down. The shock and pain I felt at that moment were indescribable. With trembling hands, I read the letter over and over again. The photos showed Liliana hugging and kissing Santiago. The messages revealed her feelings for Santiago, words expressing how much she loved him. My heart felt like it was being squeezed and I struggled to breathe. How could this be? How could Liliana, the woman I had shared my life with for years, laughed and cried with, loved, be involved in such a betrayal? The years we had spent together, the memories we had created flashed before my eyes like a movie reel. The day we first met, our wedding day, our vacations, our laughter, and our tears, all these memories were now tainted by the shadow of betrayal. Questions swirled in my mind. Why? When did it start? Why did she decide to cheat on me? As I searched for answers, tears streamed out my face. How could I accept this situation? My love and trust for Liliana had completely shattered. But what should I do? Should I confront her? Or should I quietly endure this pain? The anger and pain inside me became unbearable. I barely managed to drag myself to the bedroom and collapsed onto the bed. Even when I closed my eyes, I couldn't escape the images in my mind. The moments Liliana and Santiago spent together kept replaying in my head. After a sleepless night with the first light of dawn, I realized I couldn't delay this any longer. I had to confront Liliana. At first, I had no idea what to do. I paced the room, pulling at my hair. The thought of Liliana's face made me feel suffocated. How could she do this? Why? These questions kept circling in my brain. I had to go to work. But how could I focus with a mind so full of turmoil? My coworkers and family sensed that something was wrong. But I couldn't tell anyone. I was afraid of confronting Liliana. I wanted to accuse her, shout at her, demand answers. But I was also terrified of losing her. I was drowning in these conflicting emotions. At work, I felt the curious glances of my colleagues. They knew something was different about me. I sat at my desk trying to work, but my thoughts wouldn't stop. Liliana's face, the photos with Santiago, wouldn't leave my mind. Those moments, that intimacy. It was all real. And I had to face this reality. When I got home, I couldn't bring myself to look Liliana in the eyes. I thought she knew about this situation and felt guilty. But I didn't know what to do. That night, sleeping was almost impossible. I tossed and turned battling my thoughts. The pain of betrayal was burning inside me. By morning, I knew I couldn't delay this any longer. I had to confront Liliana. The next morning, as I got ready for work, I tried to hide the redness in my eyes. I had to perform as usual at work, but the storm inside me wouldn't calm. I couldn't focus all day. Under the curious glances of my colleagues, I knew they were hesitant to ask what was wrong. But this made the situation even more challenging for me. On my way home from work, I dreaded the moment I would have to confront Liliana. When I got home, Liliana greeted me with her usual smile. Her natural demeanor drove me even more insane. I threw the letter onto the table and shouted, "What is this, Liliana?" The fleeting surprise and subsequent guilt in her eyes said it all. She broke into tears and confessed. She told me about her relationship with Santiago, the reasons, her feelings. But all I heard was the deep pain caused by her betrayal. At that moment, I had to make the hardest decision of my life. Should I forgive Liliana? Or separate? My heart was shattered, but my logic prevailed. My trust in her was broken, and it was nearly impossible to rebuild it. Liliana cried as she recounted her relationship with Santiago. "Luis, I never wanted to hurt you. This relationship was just a mistake, a wrong turn. Just because something happened with Santiago doesn't mean I don't love you," she said. But to me, those words held little meaning. The pain of betrayal was so deep that every word she uttered inflicted more pain. I wanted to shout at her, demand answers. "How could you do this, Liliana? We've been together for years. I trusted you. I loved you. And what did you do? You betrayed me. Went behind my back. Did I deserve this?" I said. Liliana, crying, apologized, expressing her regret. But for me, those words were insufficient. My heart was broken and there was no way to mend it. Tears streamed down my face, but they were tears of anger and disappointment. Looking into Liliana's eyes, I said, "My trust in you is completely gone, Liliana. I can't continue with you anymore. We've lost the trust needed to sustain this relationship. Forgive me. But we have to go our separate ways." Liliana froze for a moment at my words. Then crying, she said, "Luis, please, I'll do anything to make up for this mistake. Don't leave me. I love you." But for me, those words held no meaning anymore. I had made my decision and there was no turning back. At first I was in shock. I didn't know what to do or how to feel. My coworkers and family, upon learning of the situation, came to support me. But the emptiness inside me couldn't be filled by any support. I was trying to understand why Liliana made such a decision. Apparently, she had been seeing someone named Santiago for a while. This man was a successful entrepreneur and had a significant place in Liliana's life. Liliana was captivated by the luxurious and comfortable life Santiago offered and had cast aside our marriage. Was I angry with her? Of course. But more than anything I was disappointed because my love and trust for her had been shattered. The emptiness and pain inside me grew with each passing day. But life went on. And I had to find a way to deal with this situation. Liliana and I had met during the final year of university. We had met at a student party and quickly developed a bond. We had spent wonderful times together. When we got married, I thought everything would be as beautiful forever. But over time, the bond between us weakened and our love for each other diminished. But I had never thought Liliana would go as far as leaving me. In the early years of our marriage, everything was fine. We laughed, had fun and dreamed about the future together. But as time passed, things changed. Liliana's workload increased and she started taking on more responsibilities. I focused on advancing in my career. In this hectic pace, the time we spent together decreased and our communication started to break down. Our interest and love for each other gradually turned into habits. As Liliana's business trips and meetings increased, the distance between us grew. She tried to climb up in her career and I took on more responsibilities at work to prove myself. During this process, we grew apart and the gaps in our relationship became more apparent. Liliana's love and loyalty to me had turned into interest in someone else. When she met Santiago, she thought she had found happiness in the time she spent with him. But I couldn't see how her decision was affecting us and weakening our bond. After some time, I decided to focus on my work. I got a promotion and started taking on more responsibilities. This way, I could somewhat fill the emptiness inside me. New projects, new people, and new goals became the center of my life. By forming closer relationships with my colleagues, I began to pull myself together again. During this process, I met a new colleague named Helga. Helga was a talented engineer who had recently joined our company and she quickly showed how successful she was in her work. Working with her gave me new energy and motivation. We started spending time together outside of work. And a strong friendship developed between us. Helga was intelligent, hardworking, and understanding. Every moment I spent with her helped me forget the disappointments I had experienced with Liliana. While working on projects together, her dedication and passion for her work impressed me. Over time, my feelings for Helga grew stronger and my love for her increased. One day, I gathered my courage and confessed my feelings to Helga. Learning that she felt the same way about me made me incredibly happy. We embarked on a new life together and our bond grew stronger. Every day, Helga showed me what true love and happiness were. Our relationship with Helga deep. And not only at work, but also in our social lives. We participated in various activities together on weekends, went on nature hikes, and even attended cooking classes. Every moment I spent with her taught me something new and broadened my perspective on life. Helga's positive and energetic approach to life lifted my spirits. This not only improved my performance at work, but also made me personally happier and more content. Traveling together also strengthened our bond. Discovering different cities and cultures, seeing new places and having adventures together created unforgettable memories. For us, every trip was a new beginning and discovery. These journeys with Helga gave us the opportunity to get to know each other better and deepened our love for each other. When I met Helga's family, their warm and sincere approach deeply affected me. Her family, like Helga, were loving and supportive people. The time I spent with them made me feel like a real part of a family. This showed once again how strong and solid our relationship with Helga was. The bond one formed with her family made our relationship even more meaningful. Just when everything was going well, Liliana re-entered my life. One day she knocked on my door with a look of remorse in her eyes. "Luis have come back. I'm so sorry for what I did to you. Please forgive me and let's be together again," she said. Her words stirred up complex emotions within me. On one hand, my love and loyalty to her were in the past. But on the other hand, I understood the difficulties and helplessness she had gone through. However, my relationship with Helga had shown me what true love and happiness were. Liliana's unexpected return became a new turning point in my life. I had to face her and reassess my feelings. Her remorse and helplessness deeply affected me. But my bond with Helga made me strong and determined. Looking into Liliana's eyes, I said, "We can't change the past, Liliana. You chose your path and I found mine. I'm happy with Helga and I can't leave her." With tears in her eyes, Liliana looked at me and said, "I understand, Luis. I'm truly sorry, but your happiness is the most important thing to me." And she walked out the door. This was the end of our story together. Helga was understanding and supportive in the face of Liliana's return. Her mature attitude was a great source of relief for me. Having Helga by my side gave me strength, and with her support, I managed to stay strong during this challenging time. Our relationship became even stronger. After this incident, Helga and I grew even closer as we overcame the emotional turmoil caused by Liliana's return. Her understanding and love provided me with great support. Helga was a true sanctuary and source of peace for me. Being with her made me feel secure. Helga and I decided to open a new chapter in our lives. The pain and disappointments we had experienced in the past were lessons for us. With what we learned from these experiences, we began to look to the future with more strength and hope. Our bond grew stronger with each passing day, and we lived a happy life together. My relationship with Helga reminded me once again of how valuable life is. Every day with her was like a new beginning and discovery. Our dreams and plans for the future brought us closer together. This story is an example of the complex emotions and consequences of betrayal and infidelity. The emotional ups and downs experienced by each character contain important lessons about trust and loyalty in relationships. Helga's love and support showed me how beautiful life could be, and together we started a new beginning and lived a happy life. Through this process, every experience reminded me of how valuable life is. Every difficulty and disappointment made me stronger and more determined. My experience with Liliana showed me how unpredictable and uncertain life can be. But with Helga, I learned what true love and happiness are. Helga's love and support showed me that I could overcome any challenge. Every moment I spent with her brought me true happiness. In peace. This story is an example of how unpredictable and uncertain life can be. But with true love and loyalty, everything can be overcome. The life we built together taught me what true love and loyalty are. Helga was more than just a partner for me. She became the most important part of my life. Every moment I spent with her brought me true happiness and peace. Our dreams and plans for the future brought us closer together, and we lived a happy life together. Helga and I continued to work towards realizing our dreams for the future. We traveled more, discovered new places, and got to know each other even better. Every new experience strengthened our bond. Our hope and excitement for the future brought us closer with each passing day. Helga's love and support showed me that I could overcome any challenge. Together we knew we could achieve anything. My relationship with Helga reminded me once again of how valuable life is. Every day with her was like a new beginning and discovery. Our dreams and plans for the future brought us closer together, and we lived a happy life together.